In this video, we're going to show you how to intentionally run your solvent dyes. Here we have a steel cutout that has been ground in various areas, so we have a couple different grinding patterns that we're going to try and work in our favor. Again, we've got to clean it. We say this in every video. Your surface prep will directly reference how well everything's going to stick. If you do not clean very well, it's not going to hold on very well. It's as simple as that. Think of it as if you didn't clean your kitchen pans. You know, your next meal is not going to taste that right. You're going to have some remnants there. So the better you clean, the better the patinas or faux finishes, just in general, the better it's going to stick. So we're using the Scotch-Brite pad and Sculpt Nouveau, as we usually do. And again, you got to rinse it. So here we're going to warm it up and draw out the moisture. But we're actually going to try and heat the tips a little bit more than usual. You can see we're getting a little discoloration there. We're doing this intentionally. I want it to reflect a little bit of difference. And you'll see it's going to be a different color on the outskirt, again, because of that grind pattern. So I'm just trying to add a little touch of variance as well. Now, many times we recommend you to dilute the solvent dyes because they're highly concentrated, and usually you can get them to look really good if you dilute them. But here we're using full concentrate. You can see we're just going to go right onto the microfiber towel, and we're just going to kind of brush them on with the microfiber pretty heavily. The shiny steel underneath, and this will go for aluminum or anything like that, really kind of pops color back at you. So we're going full concentrate just to get that full effect, and we're just going to do the entire thing in yellow. So as you can see, we've got it all yellowed out, and you can see those different colors. If you look at the top and bottom, it's most obvious. But we're going to go in with the ColorLoc now. We've mentioned in previous videos, the ColorLoc tries to encapsulate and make it so the next layer doesn't mess with the first layer for the solvent dyes. The yellow solvent dye sat for about an hour, then I let the ColorLoc sit on there overnight because I don't want to be rubbing on this full concentrate red and have it start rubbing off on me. So you need to let the ColorLoc do its thing, let it cure out and dry, and then you can move forward. If you are airbrushing or spraying on the solvent dyes, you can probably move a little bit quicker, but if you're brushing or sponging, even anything like that where you're doing direct contact, you got to let it sit for a little bit longer. So this is full concentrate red again, and we're just going to try and do the tips. I'm going to leave kind of the center there where everything meets up yellow, and we'll try and get all of the tips red, and then we're going to have that red bleed in. So here we have the red all done up, and we're going to go in with the ColorLoc again. Now, normally we tell you to do a light to wet coat with a ColorLoc. Here, we're going to get a base kind of layer going, and then we're going to go in and really go in hard. And we're going to try and push from the outside in, so the ColorLoc does most of the work. So you'll see it here in a second. When the colors start bleeding, you'll just see that red start moving in a little bit. The tricky part with this is that you're then adding a lot of clear coat. So you really need to make sure that it's going to degas and dry properly, especially pools. So you really got to give it a lot of time to dry. If you can heat the room a little bit more, you know, the warmer the atmosphere is, the better it's going to do. So you can start seeing that red react with the yellow, reconstituting it, so it's going more kind of like a orangey peach, I suppose. And I just keep pushing that color in, and that'll help kind of blend it and really does some cool effects this way. Again, if you went with a real thin layer of ColorLoc and did the red coat sooner, you wouldn't have to use so much ColorLoc, so you can play with it a little bit and see what works best for you. Personally, I like to have that full day of cure on ColorLoc to really try and make sure my colors don't blend any sooner than I intend them to. And here we have our final piece. Now this is sat for 2 days now over the weekend. and trying to get some of that shimmer on there from the ColorLoc, because the ColorLoc is pretty glossy. You can see the colors just bled right in, and really looks pretty cool. Solvent Dyes and ColorLoc are both available at www.sculptnouveau.com.